Hey, welcome to the second to the last episode of the Sounds on Vinyl show. My name is Phil Bowyer, and the dude sitting next to me, his name is Mike Svensson, lead singer extraordinaire, the man, the myth, the legend. I can only say that. Oh, wait, I forgot. Lead singer of all bands, past, present, future.
Oh, yes.
I only have a couple more times that I can say that here.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be a long business card if
it's
I
going to be
if I
yes. If you had business cards, it'd be like,
yeah.
okay, here's the accordion, here's
Yeah.
my title. Like, here we go.
Oh my god.
Oh, fucking hell. So, Led Zeppelin this week, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think we've I don't think we've ever really I think when we did like the 60s, when we did like the decades a while back, I think we
Mhm.
covered Led Zeppelin, but
Yeah.
we never really talked about like a Led Zeppelin record start to
No.
finish before. Like we have like in the early days, we've done like AC/DC and all that stuff, but Led
Oh, yeah.
Zeppelin somehow passed us by. I don't know.
Me neither. Maybe
Like
it
on a
were
scale of 1 to 10, where are
mm.
you as a Led Zeppelin fan? Are you like they're the gods, they're awesome, or I'll pop them in
Oh,
every now and then?
oh my god. Well,
Put you on the spot, didn't I?
yeah, you did actually, because every time I listen to Led Zeppelin, I'm thinking that I like them more than I actually do.
Oh,
There is
interesting.
some yeah, but this is the thing with Led Zeppelin, contrary to if we talk about like bands like the Beatles, which I wish I loved more than I actually do. Led Zeppelin is one of those bands where it's so iconic rock and roll. So it's, in my opinion, because I have all the studio albums. I have them all. They're in my bookshelves, of course. Uh, so there is that, but Zeppelin isn't a band that I usually listen to that often. I have tidbits here and there on playlists,
Yep.
but
Yep.
it's rarely that I pull out a Led Zeppelin album and play it back back to back. Um, every now and then I play Zeppelin 2, though.
Oh, okay. Is that your
Uh,
favorite one out of the
I
collection?
think I think so. In my mind, it is,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if it because it's like I said, I when I sit and listen to this album, it's dawning on me. Hey, I thought all of the songs on all of the albums were like the greatest thing ever, but it's not for me.
Mhm.
But then, all that aside, there is the musicianship, which I
Mhm.
think it's out of this world. John Bonham, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, Robert Plant. Fuck
Mhm.
me. So,
Yeah,
so
I
there,
agree.
yeah, there's some sort of history that it's hard to deny, if you know what I mean. So, with
Yes.
that in mind, I have to own all the albums. It's
Okay.
something that I do. I've bought a lot of them without actually knowing what the hell I was doing, and but it's something that I want to own them, because it's an important piece of music history, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I agree, and that's why I wanted to ask you about that because they're legends. Some say they invented the heavy metal genre. I disagree with that,
Yeah, oh yeah.
but they are 100% legendary. You can't argue their
No.
status in the music, what they've done to the music industry as a whole. Like they and we'll get into it as we go through the record, but this debut record is really something else. Now, before we get into the record, I want to ask
Mhm.
you two things.
Yes.
First,
Yeah.
since you brought it up, you brought up the Beatles. Have you
Yeah.
heard the new song?
Yes.
Thoughts? Good,
Uh,
bad, ugly?
Hi- since I'm a history buff, it's a tidbit of history
Hmm.
right there and then. I mean, they
Right.
managed to discover something that no one ever knew existed, and they made it into a thing with AI, and
Hmm.
it's like I told you before. I wish I loved the Beatles more than I actually do, but I've listened to it. It's not a bad song. Beatles is not a bad band, but it's
Just not your
something that
flavor.
no.
Yeah.
Well, Queen is not my flavor at all. The Beatles, I know songs. Of course, I know Queen
Hmm.
songs, but I much rather listen to the Beatles than Queen, actually.
You know
And
what? Oh man, yeah, the Queen thing is interesting to me
yeah,
that you're not a Queen fan, but
yeah,
I agree with you that I didn't think the song was all that great. I didn't think we needed that song, although Beatles fans are probably like over the moon on this thing.
yeah,
What I find fascinating was how this song was constructed from
yeah.
a because I'm a big technical guy. I'm big into AI right now. I've already created like 4 GPTs in the between ChatGPT going down and stuff like that. So I'm big into what AI can do for creators, especially small creators like me and you, where we
Mm,
can get on a level of the big boys without having $1 million budgets, right?
yep. Yes.
So I'm a big fan of what AI can do, and it's like what are we going to see from like a band that we're going to have next week? Like what's in the vaults that we can now bring to life that we probably couldn't before? Like,
Yeah.
are we going to get new music from all these older bands that aren't together and maybe the band members are dead and stuff like that? Are we going to be able
Mm,
to resurrect some old Ronnie Dio songs that, he just had some vocals on tape, but and maybe a little bit of something here and there, but can we have more like a full song? Are we going to see a brand new Dio album in the future or EP or something like that? That's kind of
yeah.
what excites me about this Beatles song more than the
Yeah.
song itself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, I agree to you. I agree with you, but it's not my place to say if it's a good song or not, since I'm not into the band. But as a piece of history, I think it's important. It is.
yeah, and like I said, I think Beatles fans. I think I saw a post by Philip Schaus, who's been on the show many times. He's a huge Beatles fan, and he said he loved the song. So I
Yeah.
think if you're a Beatles fan, you like it. It's I like some Beatles songs, but I'm like you. I'm not a huge fan. I wouldn't call myself like, ooh, wow, hey,
No.
I got to get the whole collection and all that and keeping. I'm just not that way. But
No.
um, going back to Led Zeppelin,
Yes.
have you seen the video of Robert Plant singing whatchamacallit? I forget the song now.
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven. Thank you. Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
And what'd you think about that?
Um, I thought the players were a bit. I don't know.
Week?
Um, yes, that. I was in my head. I struggle with diplomacy. Is there something
Fuck
that I can?
diplomacy.
Yeah. Now I thought the playing was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought Plant's voice was not all that great either.
No. No.
I mean, to be fair, the dude's like probably pushing close to 80 by now, right?
Yeah. But
So
and also it's recorded on a mobile phone in a fucking barn. That's what it looks like.
true.
So
True.
we actually don't know. We don't
Yeah.
know. He could be using an iPhone and those motherfuckers. I just
You know how it is.
yeah, I know.
Don't be
So
making
but I
fun of
don't know.
iPhone people though. Come on.
Yeah, but the thing that struck me was how poorly the guitar player was at interpreting the song. It didn't seem like it was a thing that he did in a different way. And Robert is so professional, so he would be able to sing over that. Uh, um, I don't know what he was trying to do, the guitar player. I actually don't know, but I felt bad for Robert. I really
Yeah.
felt bad. It was, I mean, I've seen. y- Uh, um, have you seen the thing where what the fuck they call the both of them, the Hart sisters,
Oh
Nancy
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I did
yeah,
see that when
yeah, with
she did
Jason
that. And
with Jason Bonham and the choir and
that
their
was that was fucking awesome.
yeah,
That was really
and that
good.
guitar player, I mean, he did his thing, even though he's not Jimmy Page, because even though you try to do um, a song justice with playing the parts that Jimmy do, you couldn't even imagine to be in. It's you're going to be a cover artist no matter what you do, no
True.
matter what you do, because you can't play it. To some extent, people try to like mimic Jimmy Page, Jimi Hendrix, or whatever, but there is something in there. It's a feeling. It's I don't know what it is,
It's
but
DNA, man.
it's
It's in there.
yeah,
They have
yeah,
that guitar blood or something.
yes,
It's just
yeah,
it's in there, and you can try to replicate it, but unless you have it, it's
yeah,
not going
no,
anywhere.
no.
Yeah.
So I don't know. In all fairness to Robert Plant, I didn't look at the whole video because
I
I
didn't
thought
either.
it no, because I thought
I could get
it
through it.
was no. So I don't know.
It was
I don't know.
painful. I got
It
all
was
excited, but it's like,
yeah.
eh,
Mm.
mm.
And people are getting all excited over a video filmed on a mobile phone. I mean, it's oh, this is Robert Plant, and even though the naysayers go, "Oh my God, he can't sing anymore," how do we know? I mean, his phone could be out of whack. The I mean, the acoustic thing in the fucking barn could be total whack. I mean, the guitar player plays like I don't know. We actually don't know what went down.
True. My problem with Plant's vocals were, and much like a lot of these guys do, David Lee Roth, and I'm not putting those 2 in the same league by any means, but they sing it as though it's a different song.
Oh yeah,
The energy that he used to sing it was not the same, and
no,
again, he's a lot older than he was when he originally did that,
yeah,
but it was sung more like a Frank Sinatra kind of thing, and it for me, it was like, "What are you doing to this song?" Like, so I feel like the butchering was equally spread out between everybody involved.
hmm,
Granted, I agree with you, the playing was not there at all, but the way Plant sang that song, it was like he sang it like he was trying to cover it and make it his own, and I'm
yeah.
like, "But it is yours,
But it
right?
is yours.
It is yours, so you just sing it the
So
way
what are
it
you
should be
doing to the
sung."
song, man? What the fuck?
You know? I mean, I don't
Uh,
mind a little bit of, when it's live, a little bit of,
yeah, I know.
taking some liberties here and there, but it's
Yeah.
like, dude, it's like that wasn't even Stairway to
Dude.
Heaven, man. It might have been the same lyrics and maybe a little bit of the same music, but
Yeah.
that was you know what I mean?
I don't
It's
know. Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
but I was it was disappointing.
Yeah. So
But
let's leave that for now and
let's leave it and let's get into something that is not disappointing, and that is the debut record
yes.
from this little band we've been talking about called Led Zeppelin, and, it's released in 1969. You and I weren't even fricking born yet when this came out, and, it's 9 songs and 44 minutes.
Yes.
And this album, when I'll get to it at the end, but I think this is an extraordinary extraordinary album for many reasons. But let's start with track 1, Good Times, Bad Times. What do you think?
Yes. Oh, I like the intro and how the drums ease its way like through the whole song. Bonham's drumming is, I mean, it's always been exceptional. I like the bluesy feel of the whole song. Yeah, and the whole album for that matter. I think it's a great song. I really do.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love the way the drums just kinda creep in.
Yeah,
Just a little tap here and a tap there, and it's
yeah,
like just it kinda creeps in, and you listen to this, and on the surface, it's kind of a simple song,
yeah.
but then you listen to Bonham's drumming, and you're like, "Jesus Christ, man,
Mhm.
there's some crazy shit
Oh
going
yeah,
on
yeah.
underneath the covers, man. There's some crazy shit going on."
Yeah, and I've throughout the years I've broken down some of the stuff that he does, and it's totally amazing. I've so many times listened to him play in my headphones and try to figure out what the hell the man is doing, and when you get to a point where you just because since I'm foremost a drummer, I started out playing the drums. I very often listen to the drums when I hear a new song from a new band or whatever. But when I listen to music, I listen to the drums. So when I went through this album and listened to it, it's sort of like I discover parts that I haven't heard in a long time, which I think is great. And you hear him doing all those small tidbits here and there, and which is a way for him to lift everything up, if you know what I mean.
Mhm,
I'm doing my part also, like Jimmy do. I
mhm.
mean, I and no wonder that John Bonham is like
Best
one of the
drummer.
yeah, not the
No?
best per se, but one of the greatest rock and roll
Oh,
drummer
so not
ever.
see, okay. See, for me, I look at him as this guy that does what needs to get done, and he just doesn't do it in a he's not like the animal and comes out there and he's like wild all the
No.
time. He can do that when he needs to, right?
Yes.
But it's these little subtle things that just add like he knows the role of the drums and
Yeah.
he does it to perfection. So
Yeah.
for me, he is the greatest drummer,
Yeah.
but you disagree in being a drummer. That's interesting. So who do you think is better? Who do you think does a better job than
Not
John Bonham?
necessarily better, but it speaks to me in a different way, if you know what I mean.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I get you.
So
So he's
if
not your favorite drummer.
one of them, actually one
Okay.
of them, yeah.
Okay.
I really dig both Carmen and Vinny Appice. I really dig Cozy Powell, but I grew up with those guys, if you know what I mean. I didn't
Mhm.
grow up with Bonham. That's, I mean, it's sort of like you have this textbook that in school that this is how it's supposed to be. It's a description of how to play drums, and the guy who wrote the description is John Bonham. But if you want to discover something else and go out on a limb and try to create your own thing, you go with players like Vinny Appice, Carmen Appice, Cozy Powell, Tommy Aldrich, and so forth. You cannot recreate John Bonham's because he's like sort of like larger than life, if you know what I mean. But it's a tricky thing. It is. He's one of the greatest. He is one of the greatest. Maybe he is the greatest. But it's sort of like when every other person wants to talk about drummers, all they have to say is John Bonham. John Bonham, John Bonham, John Bonham, John Bonham. And which puts the scale so high that all the other drummers are like way down. I like a drummer called Ronnie Tutt, who played with Elvis. I like the style of Gene Krupa, who was a jazz drummer. I mean, those guys were like epic in a certain way, if you know what I mean. But
Mhm.
of course, I agree with you. I don't disagree at all. So
There you
that's
go.
it.
There we
There we
go.
go. Yes.
The lowdown on Mike's feelings towards John Bonham.
Yeah. You were
That he
taken aback at this, weren't you? A
Yeah, yeah,
little.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, for me,
Every yeah. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say I look at, like, the top 2 drummers in rock are Bonham and Neil Peart,
Mm,
and I know you're not a Rush fan. I tried to get
no.
him to do a Rush album this
Yeah.
week,
No.
and he's like, "Nope." I tried to get him to do 2112 because I thought that could be like a Black Album kind of fun show, but he's like, "No, no,
Nope.
no." But this is
Nope.
better though. This is better. Going kinda
It is. It
going
is.
back to the '60s with this one. So,
Yes.
all right. Let's leave the drumming behind and hit
Oh yeah.
one of my fucking favorites on this record, "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You."
Yes.
What do you think, man?
I like the vibe they got going on, but it's way too long in my opinion.
Oh, it's not
Pay
long enough. What are you talking about?
ah, Page's guitar work is stellar. Plant's vocals too, even though it's a bit whiny in parts, but it's a good song. It's a little too long in my opinion.
Hmm. Wow, okay.
Hmm.
Well, it's the first of, I think, 3 covers on this record, and, I think it's so fucking bluesy. It starts out mellow with the acoustic and Rob just singing. It's kinda like they're on the front porch drinking hooch, and just jamming along, and then it kicks in, and I just you said use the word whiny for Rob's vocals on this one, and I think I think he does a stellar job in this, and,
Yeah.
the interlude before it gets heavy, just after the 2-minute mark is just awesome. It just speaks to me. Um, yeah, I think it's got a lot of tempo changes. It is I think it's one of the I think this one and the next 2 are all both, like, close to 6.5 minutes,
Mm,
which is another, like, okay, it's 1969, and they're doing these 6+ minute songs
yeah.
in a time when they're supposed to be 2 to 3. So it's interesting.
But
Um,
wasn't there the time when, like in the late '60s, where people are smoking it up and playing long songs? Don't you think?
yeah, I think we were transitioning to that, but as far as singles and stuff, there was still, like, there's always the radio edit that had to be,
Oh
like,
yeah.
under 4-minute songs.
Yeah.
So if you wanted your song on the radio, it couldn't be 6, 7 minutes like it can today, right? So,
Mm,
um, anyway, so yeah, I think, it is a long song, but I dig it, man. For me, it's not long enough.
all right. Cool.
Num Track 3, "You Shook Me."
Yes. Willie Dixon song.
Yes.
I mean, I like the thing that where white musician lifted up the blues to a new level. I mean, they didn't get credit at all at some point. But I mean, both the Rolling Stones and Zeppelin did it, and which I think it's great. It's sort of like a hippie blues feel to this. Uh, I think that they got it down. Zeppelin, both Zeppelin and Stones, how you interpret songs like this. Um, mm, I think
Mm,
it's there is something there. There is
mhm.
something there. I think it's a great song.
Yeah, I think, the song definitely has a little bit of everything in it. I mean,
Yeah.
you go from that mellow ending of the last one to this heavy bluesy guitar with the drums in it. It's just awesome. Rob's vocals, I think, really showcase what he can do in this one.
Yep.
Shows his range from bluesy to heavy to raspy to whatever he needs to do. Now, my ears aren't as trained as they probably should be after listening to music all this time, but it was the guitar actually trying to mimic a harmonica in the one part of this song, because I feel like that's what it was doing. And then we actually had harmonica come in a little bit later, but I don't know
Yeah.
if I was just hearing wrong or if it was both a harmonica and a guitar. But I feel like that Jimmy was trying to
I
mimic a
think you're
harmonica with the
yeah, I think
guitar.
you're onto something in there. I think so. That would easily be stuff like Zeppelin did.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. The keyboard solo makes you makes me think I'm in some Baptist church in the South. I mean,
Yeah.
that was just awesome. And the war between Rob and Jimmy is crazy, you know, when they do the whole Jimmy plays and plant screams and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I love when bands do that shit. That's
Yeah.
fun.
And
But yeah, great song.
they did that often live too, which I
Yeah,
think it's really cool, improvising a lot
yeah,
live with those kinds of things. Great
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest regrets that I never got to see Zeppelin live.
Yeah.
I always say I was born like 10, 15 years too late because there's all these bands like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath that I wanted to see in their heyday in the
Yeah.
60s and 70s and shit. And just too young, too young.
Too
Like I said,
young.
this was released before we were even born,
Yeah, yeah.
which tells you the
Great.
power of this, though, that
Oh,
we're
yeah.
talking about
Oh,
it
yeah.
like 55 some odd year, 50
Yeah.
years ish later, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's nuts.
talking about power, number 4, Dazed and Confused. My freaking god. I mean I mean I don't know. I mean, there's a song this is a song for me that's it's a totally awesome song. I mean, it's got if You Shook Me had everything that you wanted in a bluesy feel song. This
Mhm.
has it all when it comes to rock and roll, if you know
And it
what I
takes
mean.
it to another level. It just brings it
Yes.
up. It just takes it
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking insane to listen. I remember listening to this song back in the day because it was sort of like it was in a movie, I think, and it got played in certain ways that I remember on radio or whatnot, and you get an introduction to why Led Zeppelin is considered one of the best rock and roll bands ever. It's fucking insane. The vocals, the drumming, the guitar, it's got everything, man. It's also it's also fitted together, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
The whole song is like together. It's you're not gonna leave everything to chance. It's I don't know. I don't know. I lost for
They
words.
don't make them like this one anymore, man.
No,
They don't. I
no.
mean, the haunting riff as Rob belts out the lyrics, I mean,
Yeah,
it's so dark and disconcerting and it's oh my god, and the this trippy psychedelic part around the 2-minute mark
yeah.
when Jimmy does with the guitar during that is just fucking nuts.
It
And
is.
I know
It
he
is.
likes to use a bow, but this just sounds so much like a violin. It's
Yeah,
scary. Like if I
yeah,
had to guess, if I didn't know, I'd be like, "That's a violin right there,"
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's not. Like Jimmy Page, I feel, even though he gets a lot of props for being like one of the best guitarists, I do feel he's a bit underrated because I call him like Jimmy number two because he's just this side of Jimi Hendrix.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Right? The stuff that he did and his playing and what you just listen to this album and you can hear the range that this guy's got and how he can play and what he can make that fucking guitar do. It's pretty incredible.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's just it just a phenomenal song and I used to not really appreciate the song. I used to think this song was a little bit overhyped and I heard a lot of people say, "Well, you got to take some acid or some drugs or something to appreciate it." And I'm like, if you got to take drugs to appreciate a song, then something's wrong. Then
yeah.
that's not quite right.
No, no,
You
no.
know, I mean, I don't need to drop an acid to go listen to Inagata Davida. I can appreciate that song for what it is without, you know,
Yeah.
without doing. I might drink a whiskey during it, but you know, I don't think I need to go drop acid to listen to any
No,
of this
no.
stuff, right?
And
I
I
don't
don't
see how
think
that's going to make it better. So,
no, I don't think it was their intention that you were supposed to drop some acid or do some drugs when listen to this album. I mean, it's I don't know, but Dazed and Confused, man,
like you
holy
you
shit,
mentioned earlier about the musicianship, this
yeah,
right here demonstrates that
oh
perfectly,
yeah,
like how they
yes,
all play together, right? And one
yeah,
guy that really we haven't talked about yet is John Paul Jones.
oh yeah,
Um, just a great player,
oh
you
yeah,
know, with the keys and the bass and all that. Just a
yeah,
great
yeah.
player too.
He's a really smart dude when it comes to laying down the bass tracks, and I think I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that he has all the harmonies down. He knows exactly what to do and when to do it, and I think that's the way they progressed together as a band. He was like in there in that moment and put his 50 Cent down with all the. I mean, it's a great bass player for
Mhm.
sure.
100%. All right,
Yes.
let's flip the record and go to track
Yeah.
5.
Oh
Your
yeah.
time is gonna come.
Your time is gonna come. I have a hard time with this one. I think it's way too much organ. But
Mm,
the playing, I s- you, I struggle with because this is. I have to remind myself this is a debut album, and sometimes I get like when I listen to a song like this, well, it's way too much of this. I don't understand what kind of song this is. What are they? I mean, Dazed and Confused, and then now your time is gonna come. I don't get it. The vocals are good,
yeah.
of course, but it's sort of like, do they want to do a Beatles thing with that hippie sound with Sergeant Pepper or what? And then all of a sudden it occurred to me, holy crap, this is a debut album from a band nobody knows about, and they experiment with stuff like this. Holy shit!
Mhm.
How dare they? But on the other hand, how fucking cool is this? That you don't you don't care. You do a
Yeah.
song like this, and you have Dazed and Confused, and then you got stuff before that song and afterwards
Mhm.
that we're gonna talk about. But it's
Yeah.
so who am I
Yeah,
to
for
say?
yeah, yeah. I mean, for me, I love the organ, like you said. And like I was saying, he doesn't get enough credit for this kind of playing and stuff like
No,
that. I think for me, the only good part of the song is the beginning part, is that
yeah,
organ
yeah,
part. You know, the rest of it, I mean, it's a well-arranged song on the surface. It's a good song.
yeah.
It's just it's a little too folksy
Yeah,
for me. It's
it is.
not,
Yeah.
and I'm not a big fan of folk. Like I was never Janis Joplin and all
No.
that. Like that wasn't my flavor. You know, what's his name, Bob Dylan and all that.
Yeah.
Like
No, me
that was
neither.
never my flavor.
Nope.
But yeah, it's a decent song. And then you kind of alluded to the next one, Black Mountainside.
Yes.
Like this is another one. Like what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Yeah,
What
I
what
know.
what what like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You see? What? What?
what the
What?
fuck is this?
Yeah. We don't, because we don't know. Maybe
Mm-mm.
we should smoke a joint or something to get it.
I
I
think I
don't know.
think it to get through these 2 songs, you might have to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the
I don't know.
guitar work is stellar.
Mm.
It's I don't know. I
I
c
mean
and I don't get me wrong, on the other song, Your Time Is Gonna Come. I love the organ, but it's way too much. It's like this, Black Mountainside, it's way too much of, I don't know. Sort of
whatever
like
this
it got
is.
an India vibe with, I can see John Lennon and Paul McCartney and George Harrison sitting around with this guru thing, and all of a sudden Page and Plant comes in, and they sit there together. Hey man, from you're from England too, man. Like smoking me if you got him. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And
Yeah,
maybe
this
yeah, man, maybe we're not supposed to get it. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
it was the time of experimentation, which, back then bands could do that, and
Yeah,
you know, um, it's I mean, it's the time of the hippie, like you were saying, so, why not do something like this? It's
yeah,
if you can, why not? Who knows? I'm sure there's Zeppelin fans out there that like them. If you like these 2, let us know what we're not getting, but
yeah.
yeah, they're not my flavor. I think they're well done songs, but that's not I don't know.
No,
Not what I want on a Led
n-
Zeppelin record, I would
no,
say that.
no.
Communication breakdown. It's always the same.
It is.
It's
It's a
always the
breakdown.
same.
Yeah. I it's a great song. I like the guitar riffs, and the vocals are superior, and I like the choir thingy at the end. That's really cool.
Mhm.
Um, Other than that, hmm,
This is one of those songs that everybody's like, "Oh, this is like one of the greatest Zeppelin songs," and this
yeah,
and that and the other thing. I mean, it's a good song. I
it
don't think it
is.
deserves to be in the top 5 of Led Zeppelin songs, but it's a decent song.
Yeah,
At least they got back into it,
yeah,
with this one, and we didn't have more of whatever that was on the last 2. Um, and we talked about the Beatles earlier. This one kinda has a little bit of a Beatles vibe to
yeah,
me.
yes,
Like, just not the vocals, obviously, but, um, I don't know, for some reason, I hear some Beatles in there, like, this could be on the White Album or something, a
yeah,
little heavier, like, the White Album's a little heavier with Helter Skelter and stuff. I feel like this could have followed Helter Skelter or something like that.
yeah,
So, yeah, but, yeah, not one of my favorites. I mean, it's okay.
no,
I'm not gonna skip
yeah,
it like I did the last 2, but,
no,
um, you know, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, number
Back to
8.
the blues with this
Back
one,
to the
man.
blues. I think, yeah,
Another Willie Dixon tune, man.
yes, I Can Quit You Baby.
Yeah.
And this song is more true to the bluesy thing that Zeppelin do and do well. So I get why they do Willie Dixon songs. Uh, and this is the way that I want to hear Zeppelin take on a true classic blues song because they
Mhm.
do it so great. Page playing is it's I mean it's so freaking great. I mean I don't know what to say.
Yeah, what
Plants
he
vocal.
does with this is
Yeah,
incredible.
it is
It's
because
incredible.
it's a cover song, but you take it to the next level. You want to show the world that I Can Quit You Baby was written by a black musician called Willie Dixon, and this is the way we interpret it, and we put this much to it, and we do this. We, I mean, it's insane,
Yeah,
and and
yeah.
and and this is the pure awesomeness of Bonham's drumming
I was just gonna
overall.
say. I was just
Yeah,
gonna say.
it's fucking insane. But this is, I mean, we get like what 3 songs that are confusing to us, and it's only 9 songs. This is what I got growing up. It's sort of like, oh, there's some songs here that are really cool, but I never sat down and listened to Bonham's drumming the way I
Mhm.
did in latter years, if you know what I
Right,
mean.
right.
So it's not been with me. So I cannot say that. Don't get me wrong, Bonham is a fucking awesome drummer, but it's sort of like you have to sit down and break down everything that he does, and not in a song like Communication Breakdown, not
Mm-mm.
in Your Time Is Gonna Come. You have to listen to Dazed and Confused. You have to listen to Good Times, Bad Times. You have to listen to, I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. You have to pick them. to listen
Right,
to
right.
again.
Yeah, because some of it's just regular rock and roll, like any
Yeah,
other drummer could do that.
yeah,
But there were parts of this song that I went back because I'm like, "Wait, what the
yeah.
fuck did he do just right there in that
You
part? Like,
see?
what the fuck?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"That no, man, there was, like, an extra something there that shouldn't have, like." Yeah, it's and it's that kinda stuff that just levels up the music that Zeppelin did. It's those little touches, it's that little something something that Bonham throws in there that you're
yeah,
not expecting, and you're like, "Holy shit, that's
yeah,
awesome."
yeah.
Yeah,
So, but it's "I Can't Quit You, Baby, Man." Fuck
good
me.
song, great song.
Really great song.
Yeah.
Yes,
How
the
many
last one.
more times we're
How
gonna
many more times treat me the way like you wanna do?
yeah.
I there's a thing with this. This is like the first song I've ever heard with Zeppelin, and it was from a Danish TV show, um, Danish TV show times 2, 'cause it was like a Danish TV show back in the '80s playing from another Danish TV show from, like, '69 or '70.
Okay.
So this is the first song I've ever heard with Zeppelin, and,
Oh,
I
interesting.
I thought it was really cool because Robert Plant introduces the band, and you can hear it goes like and I hear it in this song too. "Dun, dun, 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 dun.
Mm.
I may introduce the band to you. On bass guitar, John Paul Young. Dun, 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 dun. And, on drums, John Bonham, dun, 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 and on guitar, Jimmy Page. And then all of a sudden, they start coming into the song, and it's so fucking epic how they build it up, and you can hear a small portion of it in this song when I listen to it on the album. So maybe
Mhm,
that is the reason why I think this is a great song, how it
mhm.
progresses, and I love the guitar solo and John
Yeah.
Paul Jones's bass playing. Fuck me.
Ye
But it's way too long. It could have been like 4 or 5 minutes instead of like 8, something like that.
yeah, yeah, it is a long song. I I
It is.
I agree there, but, yeah, the opening groove with Rob's background wailing and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's, yeah, it's an interesting song. I like some of it, I don't like all of it. The tempo change at the 2-minute mark is cool. And with the chaos of the guitar, it's just it's freaking amazing. Um Rob's vocals at the 4-minute-ish mark, I have wow, just wow, especially with the guitar and drums in the
Yeah.
background. Great way to close the record. That's word for
Yes.
word what I have on my notes here because
Yeah.
it's
It is. It is a
it's
great
we
way.
because we talk about this, man, since we
Yeah,
started doing this
closer.
about opening the record and
Yeah.
closing the record,
Yeah.
and, I would
And they get it
say,
down.
I think they opened it a bit weak,
Yeah.
but they closed it strong, and there was a lot of strong songs in the middle. Couple weak ones, but yeah. I mean, for a debut record,
It is.
um,
And here it
final
is.
thoughts? Final thoughts.
Um, Final thoughts, I wouldn't it's sorta like if I didn't know better, I would say sorta like a 7 out of a 10. 6, 7 out of a 10. But this is a debut album from 1969 with these young English dudes don't care about fat or fashion or what's in and what's not. They do a record the way they want to do it, and it turns out great. So
Mhm,
I have to, history wise, and because it's a debut album, give it a 10 out of 10 because it's daring. It's
mhm,
freaking daring. I wouldn't, I couldn't, even if I tried to do a record like this, or I mean, be so bold, if you know what I mean.
mhm.
I wouldn't have the nerves to do it. And those guys here,
They
they
did.
did it.
They
They
did it.
fucking did it. Yes.
I agree, 10 for 10 because what they did on this record from blending multiple genres together.
Yes.
And they didn't do that just on this record. They've
Oh,
done that throughout their whole career, right?
yep.
The whole string of records they did this with. Um, the blues are prominent, but you can't really call this band a blues band.
No.
Can you call them
No.
a rock band? Okay, maybe. Can you call them a metal band? I don't think so.
No.
But what they did with this record, and to have I mentioned this earlier, 3 6+ minute songs on a record, on a debut
Yeah.
record in 1969,
Yeah.
knowing they were never going to get airplay, or chances were they weren't.
Yeah.
Um, it just eight, and like we just said, the 8.5 minute final song on here is
Yeah.
just like, holy shit. Um, and then, if that wasn't enough, they had not one, but 3 covers on this record.
Yeah.
3. And it
3.
wasn't like they just sort of uh covered it. They made
No.
it their own.
Oh, yeah.
Like you were saying about the Willie Dixon, one of the Willie Dixon ones, was
Yeah.
like they rewrote it and
Yeah.
made it this rock blues freaking masterpiece.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Yes.
think it has to get a 10 for 10.
Yes.
Just because it was a well arranged, well produced, it just, the talent on here is just amazing. It's
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yep.
Totally agree. How good is this? We agrees on
I
something.
know. Look at
Woo!
that. It took Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin to bring us together.
Yeah. And could you imagine doing Rush? It would be
Oh
horrible.
god. Yeah, you'd be like, "Nope. Nope, I
No,
don't like this one. I don't like
no,
this one. I don't like
no,
this one. I don't like
no.
this one."
You see? All right.
Oh, shit. Should we tell people what we're doing for the final show, or should we leave that as a surprise?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the boss. You tell them.
You want me to tell them?
Yeah, of course.
You sure? Okay.
No, I don't know.
No, okay.
It's
Okay.
gonna be good. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be we'll give you a clue. It's gonna be one of the greatest heavy metal bands that ever walked the face of the earth, but with one of the greatest voices in metal
Mhm.
that walked the face of the earth.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's a
So you
good hint.
put
You just
those.
gave it away.
I gave it away. I gave it
Well,
away.
I guess I know what it is, but so, yeah. But, yeah, so that's gonna be the final show for next
Yes.
time, and,
Yep.
we're also stay tuned, because, we're gonna have an announcement of what comes after, because
Yes.
like we said, the Sounds on Vinyl show is ending, but it's not the end
No.
of this thing that we're doing. We're gonna be
Yes.
doing something pretty epic, and
Yeah.
it's not gonna be anywhere close to what this show is. It is
Could
gonna be music related, but
yes.
it's
Could
got
we say it's ending in this format?
it's ending in this format and beginning anew. Yes,
There we
it's
go. Oh my
I'm very
it's
excited
poetry.
about it.
It's poetry.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to tell everybody what this is gonna be. So it's gonna be a blast. So the next show is gonna be freaking phenomenal. So make sure you stay tuned and you come back and listen. And with that, what are you doing this week, Mike? You're gonna you're
Let
gonna be you're gonna be
oh,
somewhere
yeah.
doing something that
Selling
you
records at the Sounds on Vinyl record store at Krusegatan 23 in Malmö, Sweden.
there you
So,
go. There you
yes.
go, bitches. Go there, buy some records, hang out, tell Mike some stories,
Oh, yeah.
and buy your favorite record.
Yes, do it.
And your not so favorite record.
Yes.
Buy your least favorite record.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
it's still a favorite record, even if it's your least favorite, it's still a
it
favorite.
is. And I'm gonna tell you a story. Sometimes I mean, I I I have coffee in my shop that and it's free, and it's sort of like I brew it on my coffee maker, and it is what it is. It's good coffee and so forth. But every now and then, my friend Jonas, my he and I became friends because we got like so much in common with music. He's the one that interviewed the Clash and the Ramones and whatnot. And a couple of times he went to um it's called the Espresso House. It's sort of like a Starbucks in Sweden. And he bought one of those big giant coffee latte things and a cinnamon bun from hell. And we sit there together, and he buys some records, and we sit there and we drink our coffee and eat our cinnamon bun and talk about the good old days and whatnot. And these are the customers that comes to my store with great stories, great coffee, and cinnamon buns for me. It's fucking epic. I mean, I couldn't even imagine that customers would come to my store and all of a sudden I see them as friends, which it's nuts to think about. I
Mhm.
wouldn't even imagine that being possible, but it is. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. So come on down, drink some coffee, shoot the shit, buy some records, or don't just listen to the stories and listen to some music in the store.
But buy some records.
But buy some
Buy
records.
some
So
records.
yeah, so I can take the bus home
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's got to walk, and it's a long
I have
walk,
to walk.
and it's
Yeah.
starting to get cold in Sweden, and
Yes.
it's a whole thing. So,
Yes.
buy a record so Mike has bus money. So there you go.
And there you go.
That should be your new tagline. Buy a record so I have bus money.
Yeah. Yeah. That should be the thing. All
And
right, people. Until next time. Later.
later.